Thank you all. Welcome, ladies. So this makes me look better already. We're trending in the right direction. I just went from a big tech hearing to little babies. That's what I like about my job. What do you do about Twitter? What do you do about the unborn? That's why I like the job so much. So here's what I think we will be doing about the unborn. We will introduce legislation, along with a lot of my colleagues, to basically get America in a position at the federal level I think is fairly consistent with the rest of the world. Can we? We have charts. Shows you how serious we are. All right. 15 weeks. A baby's at the 15-week period. What does that mean? Well, it means if you're going to operate on the baby, which happens, to save the child's life, to provide medical treatment, the standard practice in medicine is to provide anesthesia. Now, why would you do that? You provide anesthesia because the science tells us at the 15-week period, the nerve endings of the baby are pretty well developed and the child feels pain. So here's our point, that if you have to provide anesthesia to keep the baby from feeling pain to help save its life, should we as a nation be aborting babies that can feel excruciating pain from an abortion? Here's what I think. I think we should have a law at the federal level that would say after 15 weeks, no abortion on demand, except in cases of rape, incest, to save the life of the mother. And that should be where America's at. And what would that mean if we adopted that position? The next chart. Where are the chart people? If we adopted my bill, our bill, we would be in the mainstream of most everybody else in the world. I think there are 47 of the 50 European countries have a ban on abortion from 12 to 15 weeks. And I picked 15 weeks, which is a little longer than Belgium, Germany, and Spain, longer than France, Denmark, and Norway. Now, why did I do that? Because I feel comfortable at 15 weeks, the science tells us that the nerve endings are developed to the point that the unborn child feels pain. So the theory of the case here is not to be like Europe so much, is to have a standard in America that would prohibit abortions during the birthing process at a stage where it's pretty clear from the science and most of the world this should be a no-go unless there's some extraordinary reason. So we will be introducing this bill as of like right now. People will join. I hope it will be bipartisan, and we will have a debate, if we're allowed to bring it up, as to why we're doing what we're doing. Abortion is a contentious issue. Post-Dobbs, America's got to make some decisions. And the first thing I would say about the Dobbs decision is that abortion's not banned in America. It's left up to elected officials in America to define the issue. You have states have the ability to do it at the state level, and we have the ability in Washington to speak on this issue if we choose. I have chosen to speak. I have chosen to craft legislation that I think is eminently reasonable in the eyes of the world, and I hope the American people. At 15 weeks, pretty much strong majority of Americans believe abortion should be the exception, not the rule. Now, my bill follows my Democratic colleagues' attempt to define abortion at the federal level. So right after the repeal of Roe v. Wade, my Democratic colleagues introduced legislation in Washington to create a national standard. They have every right to do so. So they chose to do that. And here's what they chose. They chose a bill that allows late-term abortion virtually up to the point of birth. They chose a bill that would repeal at the state level virtually all pro-life protections passed at the state level. They chose a bill that would not put us in the mainstream of the world, but put us in a group of 7 nations that allow abortion on demand pretty much up to the point of birth, like North Korea, Iran, and a few others. About 10% of Americans support abortion, late-term abortion, like the Democratic bill. So my legislation, our legislation, is a counter to their proposal. I hope we get to debate on it and vote on it. They had a chance to vote on their bill. I'm asking for a chance to vote on my bill, and I'm hoping that the more we talk about this issue and what we're trying to accomplish at the federal level, we can rally the public nationally to put our country in better standing, to realize that we're not a better nation here, aborting babies at 15 weeks who can feel excruciating pain unless there's a real extreme exception, that we would be in the company of most civilized nations, would get out of the club of 7, like our Democrat colleagues would put us into. So we're going to have an election in 2022. The inflation report today was, in my view, bad news for the American consumer, because inflation's not getting better anytime soon. In fact, it's going to get worse. Crime is on the rise. We have a broken border. But having said all that, the abortion issue in America has always been part of our political discourse. It will continue to be. And this is my position at the federal level, that we should reject the most radical bill I've ever seen, introduced by Senator Schumer and his colleagues, that will allow abortion up to the moment of birth. That is extreme in every fashion, and we should be talking about legislation for the nation as a whole that would put us in line with the science and the civilized world. So I look forward to the debate. I look forward to the vote. If we take back the House and the Senate, I can assure you we'll have a vote on our bill. If the Democrats are in charge, I don't know if we'll ever have a vote on our bill. Thank you, and I'll turn it back over.
Thank you, Senator Graham.